Good evening, my dear students. Welcome back to the science classroom. And we were dealing with combustion and flame. Chapter 6, combustion and flame. And last class, we studied that air is necessary for combustion or burning. So, today we are dealing with one more activity, that is activity 6.3. Activity 6.3. What is that? Let us go through that. Place a piece of burning wood or charcoal on an iron tawa or plate. Okay, we have to place a burning wood or on iron tawa or a plate. Cover it with a glass jar or a tumbler. Okay, in your home there is tumbler or glass jar. Cover it with a tumbler. What happens? What happens to the burning wood or burning charcoal? What happens? Observe what happens. We have to observe what will happen to the burning wood or charcoal. What happens as per your observation? What will happen if we cover it with a glass jar, or a burning wood or charcoal is covered with a glass jar or tumbler? What happens? The oxygen supply to that will break. Okay, so it is asking whether the charcoal stop. Does the charcoal or wood stop burning after some time? Yes, obviously it is yes. It will stop burning. Yes or no? The air supply, oxygen is required for burning. Oxygen is the gas which is helping for burning. The reason for that is, can you think of the reason why it stopped burning? Because the oxygen supply, the oxygen is required, the gas which is helping in burning is oxygen. So the oxygen supply is interrupted, so the burning is stopped. Then you might have heard that when the clothes of a person catch fire, the person is covered with a blanket to extinguish fire. Okay, a picture is given in your textbook. Okay, in some cases, if any person's clothes have been burning in fire, then the persons who are seeing it, what will they do? They will come with a blanket, a woolen blanket, okay, woolen blanket, and they will cover that person. Okay, they will cover that person. Did you seen in some case? Sometimes in movies you might have seen. Okay, they will cover with a woolen blanket, because then what happens? For what reason they are covering with woolen blanket? Do you have any idea? The same in case of charcoal and wood. Okay, so in order to stop the oxygen, the supply of oxygen or the gas which is helping in burning, they are covering the person with blanket. Okay, that time what happened? The supply of the gas, oxygen, is not there, so the burning fire will put off. So they can save the person whose just have caught fire. Then some of your experience you have to recall. What is that? Does a matchstick burn by itself? How does it burn? Okay, if you put a matchstick simply, whether it will burn in a sunlight also, if it is kept, whether it will burn? No, it require how it burns. We have to take the matchstick and rub on the surface of matchbox, especially design the surface of the matchbox where different materials or different substance are kept. Okay, in a matchbox, if you observe, there is a side like this. In that, a portion like this, some colored coating is there. If you rub on that coating, the matchstick will burn. Okay, so some chemical substance are there, deposited there. Let us see in our, if we go further, we will study about that. Then we will deal it today only. Then all of you have done this one from your book. Sometimes you are tearing one paper and you are burning it. Does it burns when a matchstick you are catching near it? If you are taking one paper from your book and catching like this and burning one matchstick and you are holding it down the paper, what happens? It will burn. Yes or no? It will burn. The paper will burn. So the next question comes, can you burn a piece of wood by a matchstick? Can you burn a piece of wood with a matchstick? Is it possible? I think it is not possible. What do you think? It is not possible to burn a wood with a matchstick. But only matchstick, it is not possible. Then, if we are gathering some piece of paper, pouring some kerosene and burning one matchstick and throwing on it, for example, that means if you are keeping one piece of wood and gathering some piece of paper and also pouring some kerosene through it, above it, and you are just burning one matchstick and throwing on it, what will happen? What will happen when you are throwing a matchstick after gathering all those things? It will catch fire, and paper, everything, all the things will burn for some time, and after the papers have burned off, you will find that the wood have started burning. Yes or no? Did you see that? Because the question is not that why do you have to use paper or kerosene oil to start in wood or to start fire in wood or coal. Okay, why you are using kerosene or paper to start burning of wood or coal? What is the answer? So to burn a piece of paper, only low temperature is required. Low heat or low temperature is required to burn a paper. But in case of wood, what is it? It is some more complex thing. So it requires more temperature to start burning. Understood? In the case of paper, you require only very low temperature to start burning. With a matchstick, you can burn the paper. But in case of wood, you require a higher temperature to start the burning. So you are first burning some paper, or you are using some kerosene, and it will produce a lot of temperature, and after that slowly the wood piece or the wood will start burning. Have you heard about forest fires? Then forest fire. If you check the media, that means newspaper, TV, or whatever media you are using, you will see in the time of summer, in some part of the world or some part of India, the news of forest fire. Okay, then let us go through what is forest fire. In extreme summer, okay, when the heat is too much high, what happens? In dry areas of the forest, the grasses will burn. Okay, the grasses will burn, As a result, what happens? The bushes near it also burn. Then it will spread to the trees, big trees, and it will become a big, huge fire. Okay, and the entire forest will start burning. This is called forest fire. And if it started, it is very difficult to control it. So, earlier in this year, I think you have heard the news through newspaper or TV that a forest fire in Australia have vanished some of the forest wealth of Australia. So, a lot of animals and also humans lost their lives in the forest fire. So, it is very difficult to control forest fire. How it all start? It starts in during extreme summer, and the grasses in the dry area will catch fire easily, and it is then as a result the bushes will catch fire. From that to trees, from trees to big trees, then it will in a sudden the huge fire is happening. Okay, that is forest fire. And we have some experiences. We just before in the beginning of the class or in between the class we just discussed about the temperature at which a paper catch fire and also wood catch fire. Okay, when it start burning. Okay, we have studied. And does different things require different temperature to catch fire? Different temperature, or in same temperature everything will burn? No, in different temperature different substance will start burning or catch fire. And ignition temperature, did you heard about ignition temperature? Ignition temperature, the lowest temperature at which substance catches fire. Okay, the lowest temperature at which substance catches fire is called ignition temperature. The lowest temperature at which substance catches fire is called ignition temperature. Then, can you tell now why a matchstick is not burning when it is kept as anywhere? Simply it is kept anywhere. Okay. Why does the matchstick burn on rubbing on the sides of the matchbox? Can you say? Okay, let us go through the story or the little bit. Let us go through the history of matchstick. Okay, or matchbox. The history of matchbox is very old because many years before it was started. It started 5,000 years before in Egypt, the country Egypt. Okay, and a pine wood dipped in sulfur was used as matchstick in that time. And the matchstick which we are seeing now came into use before 200 years only. Okay, then here if you observe the matchstick, on the tip there is a color, red color or black color is there. Some chemicals are there. Did you heard about any chemical? That a mixture of antimony triosulfate. Okay, antimony triosulfate, potassium chloride, then phosphorus, white phosphorus. Okay, these were the chemicals or substance used for in the tip of matchstick. Okay. Then what happened in the case of white phosphorus? Some problem was there. The white phosphorus proved that it is very dangerous to use that substance for the workers while involving in the manufacturing of matchstick. So the white phosphorus have been changed from that mixture. So what happens these days? For safety, matchstick contain only antimony and triosulfate. Okay, sorry, antimony, triosulfate and potassium chloride. Then what about the rubbing surface? Rubbing surface, the surface, if you observe the matchstick, the surface is there like this, some color is there. And what about this substance? This substance was powdered with glass powder and red phosphorus. Okay, this matchstick side was powdered with glass powder and red phosphorus. Then how we are lighting a matchstick? We will rub on the surface of matchstick. Okay. Then what happens? On rubbing the potassium chloride and antimony triosulfate contained matchstick head through to the glass powdered phosphorus, red phosphorus surface of the match box, what happens? The red phosphorus converted into white phosphorus. This red phosphorus converted to white phosphorus. Okay, it will get converted to white phosphorus. This immediately reacts with the potassium chloride. Then what happens? Ignition happens. Okay. On rubbing with the surface, what happens? On rubbing with the potassium chloride and antimony triosulfate are there in the matchstick, and glass powder and red phosphate are there in the side of matchbox. Okay. So when this matchstick, which is containing potassium chloride and antimony triosulfate, is rubbed in the surface, what happens? This red phosphorus is converted to white phosphorus and reacts with the potassium chloride. Okay, potassium chloride in matchstick had to produce, when it is reacting with the potassium chloride and heat is produced, as a result antimony triosulfate is ignited and it start burning. Okay, do you understand? So in the case of matchstick, there is antimony triosulfate, potassium chloride and antimony triosulfate and potassium chloride, and the sides of the matchstick is having glass powder and red phosphorus, and on rubbing with the matchstick, what happens? The red phosphorus is changing to white phosphorus and it reacts with the potassium chloride to produce heat, which will ignite the antimony triosulfate and the matchstick start burning. Understood? And this is all for the day, and watch the video carefully and study well. Thank you.